Okay, Christina here to listen to some music. And today's music selection is As the Years Go Passing by Jeff Healey. So I had not heard of this musician prior to this, but after doing a little bit of research, I have found that Jeff Healey was a Canadian jazz musician who lost his eyesight really early in age, and that apparently he has sort of a unique self-taught musicianship because of that. Also, that he's no longer with us as of 2008, around age 40, which is too young. So I'm really happy, first of all, just to be experiencing this person's musicality, but to be honoring his memory. It's a pleasure for me to do that here on the channel. And speaking of the channel, don't forget to do all the things, like and subscribe. You can find me on Patreon, support the channel on Ko-fi, become a channel member, vote in polls, take part in the music community chats. We're having a great time. Okay, but enough talking. Let's listen. Okay, this is also a live performance in Germany in 1995, but that's about all I know. Okay, here we go.
There's nothing I can do if you leave me here to cry. Said there's nothing I can do if you leave me here to cry. You know my love will follow you, babe, as the years go passing by. Give you all I own, babe. There's one thing you can't deny. Yes, I say I give you most of everything I own, baby. One thing you can't deny. You know my love will follow you as the years go passing by.
Okay. Wow. Okay, very soulful. So this isn't jazz, this is blues. So his voice, first of all, is just smooth as silk. A rich baritone voice. So not a bass, not a tenor, just right there in that sweet spot in between, where he can reach some of the high notes, but then there's that depth to it. And I'm noticing that he's using different speeds and styles of vibrato. I think I'm catching that both in his vocals and in the guitar playing. And so then, speaking of the guitar playing, at first I thought he was playing slide guitar, but he's not. He's got the guitar laying flat on his lap, and he has his left-hand fingers on top of the fingerboard, including his thumb. And I also noticed just with his right hand, he hooks that pinky around there kind of to anchor himself so he knows where his fingers are with all of the strings. I know what that feeling is like because sometimes with violin or viola, we have to pluck the strings. That's pizzicato. And sometimes we want to kind of pluck and then move our hand away. But if you go too far away, if you come back, you have to make sure you go right back to where you were. So we usually use a thumb there to sort of anchor our hand and make sure that we know which of the 4 strings of the violin or the viola that we're trying to pluck. And so I saw his hand there just hooking on with that little pinky, and the motion of what he was doing is just so small and perfect and really interesting to watch. So I'm not sure what the song is about. Let's just check the lyrics super quickly. Yeah, there's nothing I can do if you leave me here to cry. Yeah, it's very bluesy. The call and answer. You know my love will follow you as the years go passing by. Well, I gave you all I own. Okay, so we're talking about a long lost love and that this person will hold love for their partner as the years go by, whether or not that person is in their life. Great blues material there to write a blues song. And I just have to say that the tone of his voice really adds to that soulfulness and the bluesy vibe. So, all right, let's just keep going. I just want to see where, there's going to be a solo. There's going to be a guitar solo in here. I really want to hear this. Okay, let's go.
Said I'm gonna leave it all up to you, baby. Oh, honey, so long, so long goodbye. You know my love will follow you as the years go passing by.
Wow. Well, that really was a pleasure to watch. He has such command of both instruments, his voice and that guitar that is flat on his lap. That really is a unique technique. I don't think I've seen anyone play like that before. And honestly, I'm a little bit jealous of it because with a string instrument, violin or viola, we have to hold on to it like this, and our thumb is here, and our fingers, we have just the 4 fingers to use, where he has the choice to use his thumb and have a 5th. For me, that's just kind of funny because I actually started on piano and then I went to violin when I was a little bit older. And I remember having to make that switch. Every time I go from one instrument to the other, I'm thinking, okay, for piano, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for violin, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I remember thinking, we have to lose, that 5th and then shift the numbers over 1. So I'm seeing him go back and forth. There was at one point where his thumb was on the edge of the fingerboard and he just had the 4 fingers there. And then the other time he's actually using that thumb like this. And it's sort of an odd presentation of the left hand, but if it works, it works. And I already talked about the right hand, that's pretty obvious how he's got that little pinky hooked in there. And it just, that minute action, it just really, really works. But I can talk about the vibrato for just a little bit, with a little bit of a demonstration here. So with a violin or viola, vibrato has to go towards your face, like this, and back. For cello and bass, it goes side to side. And for a lot of guitar playing, you get the side to side vibrato. Whereas with violin and viola, it has to go this way, forward and back, or it just doesn't work. And so what I noticed with his playing is that his vibrato was actually more forward and backwards. So it's more like this rather than this. And it takes years to really get that. So the fact that he came by that naturally on his own, I think is really impressive. So you were seeing him on the fingerboard doing 2 different types of vibrato. One was more up and down, and then the other one was where you take the string and actually wiggle the string back and forth. And that wiggling thing doesn't work on violin and viola. The closest you can get is like a finger vibrato where you kind of are doing this. Let's see if I can get it. Where you're just kind of pressing down, but that doesn't really produce a great vibrato. You have to be able to have that forward and back motion. And so again, he has developed 2 different styles of that vibrato, all on his own. And then he does the same thing in his voice. So I'm also a vocalist, and when I am singing, I tend to picture myself playing the violin, pulling the bow and letting the tone sing, and vice versa. So when I'm playing the violin or the viola, I picture myself singing and I allow for that voice to really be actualized. It just helps in musicality. It helps in character development with your music. And I think for an external instrument, it can really internalize it for you if you are pretending like it's just an extension of your own voice. And so he's doing the same thing. And I connect with that. His voice is already there, and then he is externalizing that technique to the guitar. And I can hear it. I can tell that both of those instruments are being played by the same person. And it's really neat to see. So the vibrato that we just mentioned, the forward and back vibrato that he developed on his own, and then the little finger vibrato, he does the same version of those in his voice. He has a tighter vibrato where you can see his entire head shaking with it. And then he has a wider vibrato that he uses at the tail end of phrases, and it almost makes his voice break, almost like a yodel, all the way to the end of it. And you can see the same thing, that same control that he's doing in his left hand and in his vocals. And I thought, that was really special to see. And so, yeah, the solo that he played was excellent. I don't know all the mechanics of an electric guitar. I'm learning, but what he was doing with the strumming and it was really intense there for a while. And then the call and answer, so going back and forth from the singing to the instrument, even at the end, after the big solo, the big guitar solo, I started hearing him play lighter and lighter, quieter and quieter on the guitar. And I was like, ooh, that's a new timbre. That's a new sound that we haven't heard before on this guitar instrument. And then I heard him singing in that way as well. And again, it's just really fun to see that connection, that both of those instruments are originating from the same being. It was really neat. Okay, so I want to go back and just catch a couple of these things. Let's see if I can catch the two different styles of vibrato that he's using on the guitar. There, that's the finger vibrato. And then you see the wrist going. Yeah. And then you can see the pinky hooked underneath there. And all his noodly notes in there like that are just, they're there with purpose. Let's see if we can see some of those two different techniques in his singing. Let's see if we can catch both of them.
We'll follow you as the years go
There. So that one was the short vibrato. You saw his head kind of shake a little bit.
passing by.
And then that, how it kind of wiggled out. That's the wider vibrato that he had. Excellent. Let's go to the end. I want to pick out that one place where I heard the sound of the guitar get quieter, and then his voice did the same thing. It was kind of magical. Let's see if we can find it.
As the years go passing by.
Okay, see how quiet the guitar is? And there's the voice. Excellent. Just excellent. Okay, so that was Jeff Healey. And really, what an honor, what a pleasure to have gotten to listen to this artist. I feel like his career was cut short, and that's a shame, but I'm glad that he can live on in his music that can be shared. So again, I'm very happy to be witnessing this today. If any of you fans out there know more of his work, feel free to share. I would love to hear a little bit more. I would consider putting this on my playlist. I don't have a lot of jazz or blues outright on all of my playlists that I listen to, all my music at home, but I think I could get into this. I can picture having this on in the background. My world is open to this. What a unique talent. So I hope all of you appreciated my input on this. And again, don't forget to support the channel how you can, how you wish. Like and subscribe, leave a comment. Again, any more recommendations of other music by Jeff Healey would be very welcomed. And as always, just remember that you don't have to be perfect. Just be okay. And keep listening.